It's all about the journey. It's all about the journey, baby. Ain't nothing changed but the weather.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Hey Shooter. I'm your host, Nati, and today I'm joined by Mpho.
Hey guys.
Mpinane.
Hello.
And Boipelo.
Yo, hi.
What it do? How are you guys doing?
100. Summer is finally here. That's all that matters. Thank goodness.
Man, I could really do without summer, but
Nah.
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Oh,
Yeah, definitely.
I made it.
Yes.
Awesome.
We're good. I'm great.
Yeah, since I told you guys about the topic, I haven't been okay because every time I drive and I see this person by the traffic lights, I'm like, what should I be doing? Now I'm overthinking. So just so our listeners know what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about the homeless people by the traffic lights. What do you do? What should we be doing in any case, So I think, like, what do you do when you're driving and there's someone there by the traffic lights and they are begging for either food or money, and you have like less than 5 seconds to make up your mind? What do? You already know, okay, this is what I do all the time. Are you always like, anxious? Okay, what am I going to do now? Do I give them money? Do I give them something? Do I ignore them? What do you guys do?
Yeah. For me, I think it depends on a couple of things. First of all, for example, because I'm in the Free State, in Afrikaans, I don't know Afrikaans personally. I don't care for Afrikaans. So you can only assume, okay, maybe Mutena Wakupa, but because it's written in Afrikaans, in essence, you are not the target market to an extent.
Okay.
That's why in Afrikaans, because it's attention to Mahua type thing. And by Mahua, I mean Afrikaner people. So it kind of goes in for me. It's like, as I'm saying, it depends on case to case. Something I will give it kitafana, but sometimes it's really difficult because you literally have that 10 seconds, or it depends on a job or but about 10 seconds to really decide on how far. But based on how you present yourself, I mean, really, they don't even bother. Even they don't even bother coming to a black person. They go to a white person's car. So it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, yeah. Whatever that I have to you is not what you want. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And for you, Mpinane?
I've been thinking about it ever since you told us what the topic was, and I realized that I've become a bit desensitized. Like, when I first started to see a lot of homeless people was when I moved to Joburg, and I was like, maybe even in Cape Town, but Joburg, I'd never seen so many homeless people. So I was milking myself dry, like, because I felt like coins is, what are you going to do 2 rand? What are you going to do 50 cents? So I'd take like $10, and then like by the end of the month, I've given away a lot of money, but the person is still there and I'm not really progressing their life much. And because I use the same route to work and back, they're still there. And then,
it's the same person.
Right. So I haven't really, I fed them that one day, but I haven't really made a real impact in any progression of their life. They're still there. And what I know is after I've given you a few times, they stop asking me for money. It's now just hey, fist bump, push on, move on. Like, he's not asking, he's not checking for my money anymore.
Yeah.
So I became desensitized. Like, I've become I wave and I say I don't have anything, but I've noticed that nowadays they're even more aggressive. Some of them are like,
they're demanding.
Yeah. And you don't want to be that person that rolls up your window or locks your car door, but
for a black person, as a black person, and knocking at, but I hear you.
Lately, I've been getting scared, and I know, like, maybe circumstances, things are so much harder right now. There's COVID, people are suffering more, so people are more desperate. But lately, I've noticed that there's a lot more aggression. There's a lot more. If I said no, I don't have anything, usually they just walk away, go to the next car. Now they're like knocking. I'm like,
and you're alone and you're a female, and that also is just risk your heightened senses, so to speak.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, one, I don't think there's a problem with keeping your window rolled up and your doors locked.
You never know,
I
eh?
mean,
Yeah, true. Nah.
like it's a jungle right now.
Yeah.
But before I even go into what I do, what has your experience been of that same problem, but not in South Africa, but in the UK?
Right. So I just moved back from Brighton, and Brighton also has a homeless people problem, what they classify as a homeless problem, but it's on a different level. They have a lot of homes for homeless people, and the homeless people, they're doing a lot better than our homeless people. So I would
different. I can imagine. Different.
And he good. He's got the K-way. He's dressed.
Join.
Okay.
And they don't beg at the side of the road. Like, they're not begging to cars. They're sort of chilling on the sleeping bag
Sidewalk.
Maybe asking, but not really. Like, they just existing there.
It's like decide.
They don't really ask for money, in my experience.
Yeah.
They just live on the streets, but they're okay. I don't know if I can say they're okay, but they're not really looking for money because they're these institutions and establishments that take care of them. They give them food, they give them shelter, and then they just go out on the street during the day and just chill. I don't know. That's what I would.
I think the reason I asked was because the way I am now with regard to that is largely shaped by sort of being in different places, growing like as an adult, right? So I'm like 80% do nothing, like just with that fair line, and then the 20% of the time is sort of instinct. It's like if it's there and it's nearby and somebody's asking, I might give them money. And it's weird because it's not something that I like to do, right? But sometimes I do it, and I don't really have a specific reason why I'm gonna most of the time. Like most of the time, because I don't know. What are the circumstances around this person being here, and am I contributing to the problem or not, right? So such that it became an automatic no, unless I have some sort of reference or but the basic answer for me is most of the time I don't give. Sometimes I do give money. When I do give money, I don't particularly feel good about it because I don't know what did I make any sort of positive difference or did I just add to the problem? Somebody might say I would prefer to give something more meaningful, like food, but who drives around with a wise two everywhere, hoping
to bump into somebody?
So it's not really practical, but ideally that's what you would do, right? And then like the second part of it is like, man, I lived in a really, really big city with a lot of homeless people in New York, and I became super desensitized to that problem, to that issue. Like, super,
it's just another day.
Yeah, like entirely. Like people literally step over people sleeping on the ground on their way to work, and it's nothing, right? So for like a big part of it, I was just like, man, like, and some homeless people are really with the shits, like. Come over like $1 and they'll ask you like, what the fuck
like, yo,
bro? Like,
whoa. Like, okay.
So
and then I want to be like, bring
back. So now, Mpho, you're saying that like in New York, people will be sleeping in the streets and all of that. Do you find that they are not in your face asking for, money or a handout or whatever? Are they also in the same way they do in South Africa?
In my experience, a lot of them are asking for money or for you to give them something. But I think the point I was making is that it happens so much that you learn to sort of just not see it, right? On day to day, you're just like, it's going to happen, and it becomes a non-issue, right? And there's a lot of street performance art, so that's different. That's like people who are doing something on the street to get money, and then you have people who are just sort of chilling, and then you walk by and they ask money, and it's just like, well, I don't really know and you don't really pass the eye test, you know, like I don't really see like a genuine need. As soon as get it look like something that I wouldn't be proud that I facilitated. So after a while, it's just like, you know what, it's probably safer to not give and try to find other ways to contribute more meaningfully.
I appreciate when you're doing something. So you're not just at the traffic light, but you know those guys with the crates and they're like
dancing and all of that.
Yeah, or the humor thing, like the boards with humor, like you'll see there's like a funny joke and if
something
I laugh,
to make something to make your day.
Like because I feel like just standing there is also, I have like a bit of an issue with just standing there, and of course I don't know the circumstances why you're just standing there, but I know that I get really mad when I see a mom there with her child. Or like
I was actually gonna say that. I'm like, whenever I see a parent like with her child, they're like, okay, so now this is now you really want to, now I'm supposed to be guilty now. I'm gonna feel guilty because now you're there with your kid. Come on, what are we talking about? So like when I live this other place where I normally get like food supplies, this woman will be there with like 3-4 kids and they're singing, banana, you know, happy clappy. I'm just like, this is like a different, I don't know. I'm trying to be as politically correct as possible, but that's pimping these kids to be out there clapping in the sun and you're just there in the back. You understand? For me, it's different from people that are just performing. Okay, cool. But now they are the face. But obviously she's the one that's trying to get the coin. That, to me, that is not right. That is definitely not right.
And the sad thing is some of them do hire kids out. Like there's this lady that I know that helps out at work, and she was telling me that this one lady, like she was helping out like the kitchening, and she was like, nah, she's making more money on the street corner. So she goes and she hires out little kids, because she hires out little kids and she stands there and she puts this show. And it's very sad because now you don't even know that side of the story. Emon could be going in Chile, they honestly don't have anything. Emon it's a quick back, you know. So for me, I used to give like a lot because I just give in, you know, and I like giving and helping, but it started being unrealistic because, like we've been saying, in Joburg, there's so many robots, there's so many people. If I want to give one, there's 10 more, and now I'm starting to feel bad. So I've realized the times that I do actually go into my pocket and I give, oddly enough, is when I'm broke and I'm like, damn, if I have this 20 Rand, if I have like a 20 Rand, I don't really have much to do with it now, but you know, it's like my last 20 Rand, but I still have funds to like cover the important things. What about this person that doesn't have anything? Then I'll give.
It's one of those. I think it's one of those. If I'm okay somewhat, but this person probably doesn't even have a place to go to, so I can give this away. I'll still be fine. It's not like it goes, or you know. I think I know what you're talking about, because I sometimes have that as like, okay, I can give this away. It's okay. It's all right. And it has it's more of a, the calculation of it is more of a, man, this is the last one, but I can still source it out for me. That's it. You understand? Compared to them, they are here, they're actually begging for this money. So it makes it, I'm with that. I hear you. I think also too, it becomes difficult because I'm at a point where I think, because of my experience with crime and all of that, just like, oh, how are we traveling with cash? Like, how am I don't even have cash on me anymore. I just experience with, you know, with the hijacking and all of that. But now going forward, back to Mpho's point, click, lock the door because of the experience. So that is now not saying because, oh my God, I feel like, no, but let's just be safe. Let's be fine. Let's be okay. Let's while out in the car, whatever. Let's roll the window up. This air conditioning better work because you know, when you see these videos of basadi people getting their purses snatched from their cars, body robot thing. Also, that heightens one senses. Like obviously, but obviously, how much roll your window up, stop playing. They go snatch all your stuff. So you don't want that. You don't want that. So Leona, it's because of it's able to go because the dichotomy of what is going on is that and then there are those that really don't need. They are on their job. They are trying to steal. They are trying to con and all of that. And these are the very same group of people in the battle. Have you seen when, let's say, even if it's in your neighborhood, I'm desperate, whatever. You're gonna meet with this person a week later, and they're gonna come with the same story. Like, come
story.
on, like,
yes,
come on, B.
The first time that happened to me, I was actually quite heartbroken. No, I really was, because the story was very elaborate. And it sounded sincere. And, and it was real. And Muteno now approach at a place where there's no way in hell this is where you decided to come and con somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. And so and so like that level of it, I really don't get. That level of callousness. You know what? Go shy and you know what I mean? So you go through that, and it's harder for you to say, you know what, 90% of these people, this is all like fake news, and yeah, so it's a tough one. It's a really tough one.
I experienced it a lot during lockdown, maybe level 4, level 3. I was staying in Parkhurst, and Parkhurst home, like you're right on your doorbell is right on the street, so people can just your doorbell
knock. Yeah.
There was a group chat the other street, and they're saying, guys, please don't open. These people, it's all a con, don't do it. But one time, like, so I would pick up, it happens a lot, like, hello, ma'am, I'm coming from somewhere, and if I start listening, my boyfriend always says, if I start listening, I'm gone. Like, I'm like, God. The one guy, his fiance or his girlfriend, or Badula Alex and his fiance said, don't come back if you do not have food. We're suffering. The kids are suffering.
Damn. Yo, that's heavy.
And so I'm like, why did she say that to you? She's crazy. You know what I mean? And then and I'm like to my boyfriend, can you please go give him this $50? And he's like, no. And I'm like, no. He told me what's going on. Like, and he was like, no.
You're so invested. Nah.
It's a lie. It's always a lie. And it sucks because sometimes maybe it isn't a lie, but now my guard is up. Everyone's guard is up. We don't know. I could have helped him. Maybe I don't know. But now I'm like, and I was really mad at my boyfriend after. I was mad for like an hour. This is my experience. I've had something like that happen. You know, it's just after I moved to Bloem. I'm broke. I have like a small job. Christmas is approaching. 21 December. I'm supposed to go home. I'm thinking, okay, sharp. This dude walks in spanning, right? This guy's like, Boipelo. Okay, sharp. Okay, what a time and sharp one. This nigga, him and I'm like, where the hell does this dude? Time like this nigga tells me, I know you. I'm like, this nigga knows me. I know how say me, but this dude knows me.
That's proper research.
No, I'm like, yo, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Even this dude, in my head, I'm like, this nigga, this dude is legit conning me so nicely. So transport. By transport, I didn't have a car at the time.
Yeah.
On Christmas, right? I'm like, I I'm like, I don't want the money. I don't need that. I don't want your bank account number. If this is really what I think to me was like, if this is what you're really going to do with that money, you don't need to explain yourself and don't pay the account number. And he never came back. And in my heart of hearts, I knew, I was like, And I think that's what broke me after. I was like, you know what? Fuck all of them. And I know I sound bad, but nekis na chele. You understand? I have no money. I just started working. This is the 500 guys. You understand? And now he comes here. I was like, that's it. I'm not. Elaborate. Nah, sorry. I don't know.
These people are good. Like, if you're really going to be a con artist, you're full on con artist.
Yeah, probably he marked. Maybe I was marked.
and I find that that's the tricky part, because how shebile, like the traffic lights, it's that whole thing. Okay, there's not enough time to have a conversation with the person and be like, okay, what do you need? What's your problem? And then when you do get a chance, like a story since a while, and now you're in that position where you're like, I don't know if I should be believing this. Like, what do you even do? You know? And it even brings me to another point. There's this other friend of mine who was telling me about a homeless shelter. So the owner of the homeless shelter, Onare, she appreciates that people are willing to like donate food and, you know, clothes and all of that, but what she really needs money to like fix the roof, or money to make sure that there's hot water, you know, which also got me thinking, when we are giving, it's as if it's a selfish thing. Okay, I feel like I'll be happier giving you bread than giving you 10 rand, because I'm assuming you are going to buy glue with it, or you're going to use it for something else. So do you guys find that in your giving, you're selfish in that you give someone what you feel they need?
I don't. Okay, sorry. I think for me, it's not. I don't think it's selfish. So you can't be picky. You cannot be picky now. Want to be like, no, but if how no matter 50 rand, 50 rand, but I had. So now am I a bad person because I can have 50 rand? But who feels something else? Am I supposed to feel? No. Don't put yourself under pressure. Where you feel about 200? No. You understand? You cannot now want to force somebody's hand to say, okay, okay, this is how much I can do. But cumulatively, high book of my 10 rand, it's cool, because for you it works in your favor, cumulative. But how's it look high? I get 500, but I don't have 500.
I don't have 500.
You understand? So that's also another thing. I don't think it's selfish. This is what I can do. This is what I can afford to give you. Is food stuff. I don't have any money. So I cool then. I don't want to feel bad. Yeah.
Also, I think what you're saying now, it's making me think, the conversation part of it is important. Hey, we talk and tweeting, and I can only offer this. Would you like to have this? And then they accept it. Yeah. Instead of like I'm always thinking of memes and shit. So there's this one meme and the person was like, you could go to the ends of the world for someone, and then they'll come back and tell you they didn't ask you to do that.
Yeah.
So with that, I looked at it as, okay, that's me being selfish in that I have assumed what you need is for me to give you, to go buy 10 tins of Lucky Star, instead of asking, okay, what do you need? I can do this 1, 2, 3, 4, like people are saying now. So I think, I think that was my point earlier on. Okay, I find that sometimes I am selfish in that I assume, okay, I don't even allow there to be a conversation, because okay, I can do this, and if I accept it, then or something like that.
But if you're like Mpinane and you listen to the story, that's the problem. Okay, I heard your story, bro. Like, this is what I can do. And that's what the danger of it is, that what you can do, like these guys, I but like he's one of these parking guys, so like if you we talk sharp is it hi mogolo ke hloka bodi ena bo khosegele sharp mogolo man hi ke hloka bodi hempenyana le wa bona, then I will know because of that we've, I mean, it's been more than 6 years now. So what's weird, the very same person, he's drunk out of his mind. And like, but bro, you see, that's the problem. So Leon, it's not a selfish thing. You will see, okay, he needs shoes. I have the but my advice, you don't put yourself under pressure. Okay, now I feel like I'm being selfish. Let me know. You're going to be swindled further.
I think there's definitely a balance to strike because the selfish type of giving, even in context, it's just giving charity wise. Selfish kind of giving destroys even relationships and friendships. It's like when you've done everything for this person and I'm a neighbor, but you never do anything for me. What the hell is this talking about? All she wants is for you to put money on the table and say go shopping. But when I'll be easy, So I think for me it depends on the situation. If you have the luxury of doing your due diligence, if you have the luxury of you're giving to a homeless shelter and you have the luxury of research, you have the luxury of finding out what they need and then you can decide to give more meaningfully. You can sit down and say, okay, if you need electricity paid for, how about this? How about you can decide to do that. If you're in a situation where you have less of an opportunity to do that. But I prefer to do giving in kind just because of how corrupting physical money is. It's corrupting even to us being by own, right? What about the responsibilities are how sports scene on 5,000. You're not supposed to do that. Imagine somebody else who did not work for that 5K. So you're literally making it easier for them to misuse the money. I'm not saying they had bad intentions with the money, but if you can reduce the amount of opportunity that they have to misuse the funds, great. Sit down, figure out what the orphanage needs. If they need money for heating, pay for heating. Don't put money in the bank account, pay for heating and that kind of thing. So my preference will always be for that kind of in-kind giving as opposed to money. But I do also appreciate the fact that you can think over you're being generous towards somebody.
Fair enough.
Mpinane, I know you're judging from your social media presence. I know you are Christian, and like I can actually see it even in the way you live. Very good. So how do you practice that in a healthy way? Because I know one of the core values, I guess, in Christianity is giving and being selfless. How do you balance that and also being realistic? Okay, but at the end of the day, I need to help this person. There's a parable about fishing, I think. Teach a man how to fish.
Teach a man how to fish. Don't give them, but teach them how to fish.
Yeah. So how do you make the two balance in a healthy way?
I think for me, at the core of giving is empathy, and at the core of my beliefs is empathy. Empathy is very important for human relationships, and the people who do choose to scam us and lie to us for sinister reasons at the side of the road, that's on them. My belief is, I feel that I've done good. You decide what you do with my doing good, but it's out of my hands, once I've passed it over, it's out of my hands. I often, I give as much as I can. I give in different settings. I give homeless people if I can. I mean, in Parkhurst on 4th, you don't need cash. They're taking e-wallets now. So
Come on. Come on. What is the game is different, B. Is different.
I consciously, like, okay, $30, $40, $50, what difference is it going to make to me? What kind of difference could it make to him? Whether he decides to use that $50, whatever, that's not on me. It's off my table now, and my conscience is clear. My conscience, and I do think about people a lot after I've come across them. I'll be like, I wonder. That means like it disturbs my conscience, and I feel like I could have given, but I didn't. And to be honest, like people are saying, you don't want to give away your whole house at the end of the day. And I think that's where I know my balance is a bit shaky. I'm like, I give away food. If I have too much food, I go and I pack it and I give it to somebody, because usually I sing it in my house all the time. But for me, once it's out of my hands and it's in your hands, whatever you do.
It's on you.
God bless. And I know that life is hard, and some people choose to use their money instead of bohobe because life is hard and their circumstances have brought them to that place. It's not my responsibility to research that story. We're all going through something and we all have different needs. My conscience is clear. So
yeah.
In terms of like, because I always pray for homeless people since I was a kid. You pray for homeless people under the bridge. You pray for them, especially when it's like really bad weather outside. I always say, please protect people who are most right now. And for me, that's all I can do, right? And in terms of my religious beliefs, I only do what I can.
Yeah. Support that. And I think we keep going back to Hore. It would be so much easier if there were like proper shelters or, homes in place. Okay, if I have something, let me go to that home and either give them what I can or pay for the electricity, like Mpho was saying, and all of that. Ne? So, wait, did I just lose my trail of thought? Yes. I want to know what your view is when it comes to people that do charity runs. They advertise it like on social media, and it's like look at what I did today. Because I think some people, it could go two ways. One, it could be something that would encourage me, who's also looking and watching, and say, oh, you know what, shit, or something. Or two, it seems like a cloud thing to be like, look at what I am doing,
What's about Tabaya? I feel very strongly about Tabaya. I mean, I will go back to the setting of Makaya. When you look at Makaya, what happened now in COVID, how Shebelezi TV Lesotho, with every bulletin. No, who said kai. Bro, Lesotho has been known in terms of agriculture. Why isn't the agriculture department working overtime to make sure that you understand? And for me, it's sickening to always see that for me, that doesn't do anything, because at the end of the day, you're just trying to get votes. You're trying to swindle motherfuckers for votes, and then you're gonna be there for another term, and then that's probably the first and the last time they're seeing you. How it's so bad. I saw one this time, Alina, that actually put his face on the palelos, and I'm just like, come on.
When you talk about our deputy prime minister,
I mean, like, what is this? For me, Snati, I feel like, for example, I'm part of the body cleanup campaign. Cleanup campaign is not clout. We are just guys. How be in school? I always say, Hona le bana re bone bana ba hlokang di toothbrush banana ba age whatever 18 to 14 ba hloka di pads. That's not a problem. I think maybe the way you will package, however, that whatever that you do to try and help whomever, that just package it in a way is kaba, hey, look at me, but this is what we did. Yeah, it's kaba, because the problem is that it has a lot of it's very self-centered, the way a lot of people package what they did over the weekend, or it element in, or it was for these people. Out of the goodness of our hearts, like me and my friends came together and decided, 1, 2, 3. It's about all about me, look at me. No, it shouldn't be like that. This is what I think. I think my issue is the packaging, the way you package it. It can really be okay, no, this is what we did. We help people. 1, 2, 3. That's it. But it's gotta be said by nah, relax. It's not.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yes.
Have you guys seen these posts where a girlfriend will say something nice about her boyfriend, but post a picture of herself?
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
It's my man's birthday today. Happy birthday to him. He's such a nice guy. Maybe your photo right? So,
where's the dude?
Happy birthday, baby.
Yeah, like, so I liken
nice
that
one.
I liken that kind of framing to that, because
yes.
Wow.
Hello, are we there? Vodacom? Net? Oh, snap! Network.
While we're trying to get Mpho back, I think it made me think a lot about international development theory, where they talk about NGOs who do work in Africa, and then they depict that as poor children.
Yeah, there's that that Somalian picture with the vulture in the background. That one is the worst.
Mpho, you back? Okay, Mpho's back.
Yes, I'm back.
And those images are used a lot in UK TV and US TV, where they're seeing, like, trying to get donations and press something to donate $1 to donate.
Yeah, I hate that.
It's a slippery slope, because that's the only way to truly, like, the whole theory is around. That's the only way to get money to help these communities, is to pull at your heartstrings, but it also hits communities in such a negative way. So how do we manage that slippery slope where it's good that we're getting help? I mean, what we're talking about now about people who post on social media, it's great, because I've seen it happen, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Actually, I have so many clothes now. I know where I can take them. That kind of thing. But at the same time, like we believe, packaging is really important, because don't dehumanize people. Don't elevate yourself and be
self-righteousness. I hate it.
It's not about you. It's about these people, and that's sort of
yes,
where
Mama. Okay, Mama.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mpho,
the point.
I dropped off, guys. I think I'm having those connection issues that we were talking about.
Okay. It's okay, Mama. It's okay, Mama.
The point I was making is exactly that if you really want to promote it really should be about the people you're helping and not about you. And as soon as the camera lens looks at you and not where the things should go, then it's really not about that.
Exactly.
If I try to justify I'm promoting so that you guys can know if the pictures are of me and the story is about me. It's humble bragging. I don't know if any of you guys use LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is the most professional humble brag platform I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Man, people post a whole 6 paragraphs about when this year started, couple last year, and then I came across this young man and he was lost in his life. But can I go to the photo?
Like make it make sense.
Right. So yeah, I think for me, it's not a bad thing. I mean, if people are going to, if any place that needs help is going to get help, people need to know about it. But you know, let's keep people's dignity while we're doing it. Let's not take pictures of you. Also, let's all one packet of rice or whatever.
Yo,
really, it's just really a lot of cringe. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. Right? What? Like, don't do it. Don't bother.
I think for me, dignity is at the core of any sort of charity work. If you can preserve people's dignity while you're helping them,
that's all that matters.
Once you take that dignity away from people and turn into these sort of projects, to me, it really bothers me. And I think what Mpinane was talking about with how charity on the African continent is depicted in Europe or in North America, that really, really bothers me, right? And now working in the nonprofit space and working for an American organization, it's very, you know, it's one of those things where you have to be cognizant all the time. You know, am I working? Am I in the right environment? Is this in line with my ethos and with all the things I believe in? Thankfully, it's a great organization. Otherwise,
shout out to them.
It becomes very difficult to justify how. But I'm here. Like, can you? But
the packaging of it.
Preserve people's dignity and help as much as we can. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
True.
Gehopola Ricky Rick, he posted a video a few years ago, Ale at like a gas station, a petrol station, and these are petrol attendants, and like 200 rand notes, you know, and there was some backlash on that. But for me, I was like, you know what? At least I don't know, maybe somebody's watching this and he's like, you know what? Damn, if I can at least get a job or BP, or Mpinane or wherever, then maybe somebody like Ricky Rick will come through and give me money. So is that the same way you do that? Or you're like, nah, it's still cloud.
No, it's a lot of cloud. Let me give you an example. I'm going to go back a year or two ago. There was that dude, I think it's Malcolm X, dude that was just randomly just walking and random people giving them the 200. Random dude. Some dude. Come on. Like, what is this? What is this? You understand? So it's entirely cloud. It's not however to me, I don't think it says to let me get a job at BP. First of all, personally, the fact that I'm dancing and you are throwing money at me as a grown man, throwing money at me as a dude that works. Come on, man. Come on. Like,
are we in some right now?
You see, there's that, and then there's at the same time, it's just like, oh man, it's so it can be avoided. Something, but something, but like off camera, he gave them their chips. That's fine, because these guys are span. These are petrol attendants. But then just because niggas is dancing or whatever, now you want to throw some chips at them. Come on, man. Come on. It's lame. It's lame.
And I think that when you post those videos, homeless people are not seeing those videos.
Oh,
yeah.
True.
They're not exactly.
I want to be inspired by those videos. It's not for homeless people. It's for us, the people.
Yeah.
That middle group. People don't know, the right people. Those people are gonna be inspired and let me go get a job as a petrol attendant. And I know that I have seen many chances where homeless people are given the opportunity to go to work and they actually don't want to work.
Yeah, because there's
more money.
It's more deep rooted of an issue. I think it's on the outside looking, we just like, I mean, why would you leave? Yeah. And then you understand that there has the backstory. You hear shocking stuff. Is homeless. He's been homeless since he was 3. And so for them, they find comfort in being in the street. That's where they feel more safe, because I'd rather fend for myself than for somebody, because so the psyche of it for them as well, it makes it that much harder for them to actually be able to be like, okay, I got a place, they gave me a place, you know, it's that much harder.
Yeah. And
it's not as easy as we see it. So
yeah, and to go back on that cloud thing, to add to the cloud part, you actually made me think of something, because you got this whole Ricky Rick thing. I actually realized a while back, there's this one church I went to, and Nikiela, for the same reason that somebody would be like, okay, let me go work at the garage, so that somebody like Ricky Rick give me money. So there's this church. I'm sure you guys remember the person had passed away, and then they were brought back to life. But I went to that church. Girl.
No judgment, honey. It's a safe space.
Listen.
Safe environment.
A friend of mine invited me that, like, you know what, come to this church, because Linda, you know. I'm like, okay, fine. Because I'm always looking for like a home. So I get to the church, and it was miracle after miracle, crazy. Mama Nwatla would testify, okay, no, I was looking for a job, and then in a week's time, I got like 150,000 in my bank account. Tried to like bewitch me, but then we found this and this, and you know, so it was crazy. And the reason why, I think I went to that church like three or four times, and the reason why I kept going back was because I was like, I want to be the next person that has a crazy, you know, miracle type of thing. And also another thing, I stick with the church mostly because of the message. The message was really powerful, and it really resonated with me. So I was like, okay, if Mutuna is reading from the same Bible as me, and even when I go home and I do my research, it's a word that I can take throughout the week. Good. But now my motivation was that I want to be the next person to be like Kinali Million, you know. So now thinking about
I got you.
That's probably the same. That's where the cloud thing, you know, it kills the good deed in giving, because now okay, maybe one day I will get, you know, I'll be that person who has like 1,000 rand or whatever. And it's also like what you think? What's that word? Easy gratification, when you want your problems to be fixed immediately.
Instant gratification.
Yes, thank you. Instant gratification. So that's why like you talk about I
love it.
So like as we move on to like close it, what's your view about, say, churches where the congregation is so poor, but there's always like crazy miracles? Like what's your stance on that? Because and I think maybe that's why a church home.
May I please go last on this? May I please go last? Thank you.
Okay, Mpho, please go. Do you go to church? Like, what's your view? What's your stance?
Yeah. So no, currently I don't go to church. Growing up, I did used to go to church, and I stopped going at some point. And I really don't know the variables that led to me not going. I don't know all of them, but some of them involve just having a lot of questions. Having a lot of questions and story or things that I just couldn't reconcile in my daily life, and I couldn't reconcile with the higher power, Catholic Christianity. And so I just felt like a lot of it was lacking in being consistent and making things make sense to me. So I stopped going. But when I did go a few times in my adult life, I have been to churches where the message made sense. The preaching was not preaching, it was talking about real life issues and applying some of the scriptures from the book to what actually happens in real life. And to me, I felt like that was a more not even useful approach to religion and religious texts specifically. So my relationship with church is complicated. I believe in it as much as it preaches goodness in people. I think what Mpinane talked about earlier, do good on your terms. And if you feel that you did good and your conscience is clear, then that's that. I mean, if you're a good person, genuinely good person, I could care less which God you pray to, which book you use to reference him, or what day of the week you decide to go speak to him. So to me, I think that's my take on that. Relationship with that and charity, I think to me still comes down to just be a good person. Be a good person and help where you necessarily where you care to. I think with charity and helping and poverty and all these things, they are such daunting problems because they're big issues, right? And every time you sit down and try to analyze problem it becomes part of that, some of that paralysis that comes because you don't even know where to start, right?
Where to start, yeah.
So for me, the thing is small doable actions, like within your sphere of influence, what is it that you can do?
Yeah.
Right? So if you can do good within your sphere of influence, you have already started the chain of goodness that is necessary. I think a lot of us try to, and poverty and things like that are systemic issues that need to be addressed at a very systems level eventually, but because individually sometimes that feels like too big a challenge. Like for instance, Boipelo earlier, why doesn't the Ministry of Agriculture do this? Like, where do you even start? How about the Ministry of Agriculture where it's something useful, right? But if you care about agriculture and you care about farming, and there's somebody within your sphere of influence who's in farming or who's in agriculture, then if you can make a positive influence in that person's life, you've started to affect that area positively. So I think for me, it's really my take. It's, I don't even know if it ties back to religion in a way, but like do good according to you. Like do good, man. Be a good person, and yeah, I think really that's how I think about that.
I was Mpinane.
People was like, I'm not going until last. No, me, my relationship with religion is, I grew up my grandfather was a Methodist minister all my life, and I was in the Methodist church. And then when I started to be able to make my own decisions, I sort of steered away, and then I came back. And I think that was for me a full circle moment. I steered away because I had questions that I wasn't finding in the church. But I think that many of my questions I felt were being answered in my belief system. So the church is an institution, but religion for me is a bigger thing, like my belief system is a bigger thing, and the church is just a vessel for that. And that's how I came back to religion. And I'm not so much, I don't like conform to, I am a Methodist or, I just know that I believe greatly in God, and I think that he's gotten me so far, and I'm trusting and believing he will take me further. That's my personal relationship with him, and church is just a part of that. And what I've learned through the development of that relationship with God is that I can make, like you're saying, in your own sphere of influence, you can touch people's lives. You don't need to bring everyone closer to religion, but you can change people's lives in a very small or big way. And like I said earlier, empathy is at the center of how I want to conduct relationships with people close with me, strangers. I just want to be empathetic. And in terms of how that can solve homelessness, I don't think that we can solve homelessness in our own individual spaces, but communities, if we take a coordinated approach to end homelessness and, a community-wide approach to delivering services, food, gather together and let's cook on a Sunday morning and give people food in our own communities. If every small community did that, that could probably make a real impact in communities. And unfortunately, for us to rely on governments and those kind of bigger institutions to change our communities, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, true.
Forget about it. What I've noticed when I've traveled abroad is that communities, they're affecting the change that they want to see. They don't want to. A lot of the talk in Brighton was, homeless people make our streets dirty, so we're going to try and get them away, and that lacks empathy. But they've created spaces for these people to not sleep under bridges.
Okay.
They've created those people. I don't think if you're on the street and you're sleeping on the street, that is a you thing, because in Brighton they have lots of places that you can go. They go to different places. I've watched many videos where they were talking about, no, we go to different places. I can go to this homeless shelter tonight and another homeless shelter because the food there is good. Those kind of things. So that's a community initiative. That's what's happened in that city, and that people who are well off decided that they're going to do something for vulnerable people. And I think for us to decide who's vulnerable and who's not, we'll never know. And honestly, maybe it's not even our business to know. Just do what feels right, and the rest will take care of itself.
I love it. For me, Taba religion is really deep. Like this, it actually needs a different topic on it. I'm telling you, my thing. But at the end of the day, there are certain churches and religion. There are some that actually do a lot for homeless people, feeding and sheltering them, right? I guess the best thing that we can do, to summarize how I feel, you both in Mpinane. Now for me, spiritually, I was raised Catholic, right? And with age, just like Mpho, I had questions. Like, what? A lot of things don't make sense. There's a lot of contradictory statements as well as actions in the church. I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. But I'm at a point where I was just like, there's a higher power. That higher power, there's a higher power. And the innate good and bad that that in you will know how this is bad. You will know what is good. In your heart of hearts. At the end of the day, we just need to be a good human. Just be a good person. Stop being a problem. Just be a good human, and everything will fall into place. That's how I feel. But in terms of religion, I mean, as I'm struggling with tying it to, they have their little, obviously, and their little outreach programs, but at the center of providing shelter, it comes with convert to whatever it comes with. This is why I think Christianity as well, there's a lot of hyper marketing of what Christianity is, and access that you have to Christianity as a whole. Yes, we'll help you, but
you have to be one of
you have to believe in this. You understand? And does that mean that if I don't believe in that your higher being, if it's God, does that mean that I'm not human, so I don't deserve to be helped? I mean, if at the end of the day we are of one, why should I have to fall under a certain category of religion in order for me to gain access to your help? So it means that your help how is actually, it's a carrot and a stick. So I must decide what I want in order for me to gain access. So sometimes if people convert to Christianity because they're like, I will have access to so many other things because of the way Christianity is marketed. I have a friend of mine that is actually in the process of sort of like converting to Christianity, and we're having a conversation. She was raised Muslim and all of that. So it's why do you want to change? Because I wanted to understand the minds. It's like, no, it's more accessible, and I was like, it was quite interesting, but it goes back to the marketing. How is this brand of religion helping? Oh, look at us, we're doing 1, 2, 3. It's all aligned with your access to help, as if only like a homeless person or like a shelter that is partnered with Likereke, so to speak. So yeah, very mixed feelings about that.
that idea of God's love is unconditional, but our help has conditions.
Exactly. It's so
very difficult to reconcile that, because there's been multiple opportunities for religious institutions, not just churches, religious institutions in their various forms, to intervene and help in times of crisis across the whole world. And you just don't see them stepping up to the plate. And to me, that's always like, yo, I don't know what's going on here. You have a place that can house 20,000 people.
Why aren't you helping?
People right outside the door who need to get in, and you're not letting them in. So for me, those actions and the philosophy and the actions not reconciling has made it very difficult for me to associate or attach to a brand of religion or a brand of religious institution.
Yeah.
Awesome.
One of the clout that thingy this guy got last year, I think there was like floods in the US or something. Big, I can't remember this dude, white religious dude. I forgot his name. But the one with the books and everything. I forgot his name, but he caught a lot of slack because but you can your church on its own. Let's forget the church on its own can really do help. He wasn't trying to let anyone go in, but you're like, okay, but you're really making millions. You're literally making millions from your brand of Christianity and help and whatever. So you can't. So it shows the terms and conditions are what. I feel very strongly about that. I'm not gonna lie.
Since starting this podcast, the more episodes I do, the more I see it keeps going back to the same thing, and it's that because of our lived experiences, we now have the power to be like, okay, our parents thought this was the way things should go, or this is what the world or the systems around us thought, okay, this is what we should be doing. But a lot of that failed us. And now because of our experiences, we're like, okay, actually, if I do things like this, it might work easier or better. So to close it off, I just want to know for you guys, what have you learned and what would you start teaching your children from a young age? Because I know Mpinane from a young age, she always knew, okay, I have to pray for the homeless, So just focusing on this topic, okay, the traffic lights, meeting people on the streets. What are some of the values, if any, that you would teach your children? You know what? If somebody comes up to you and there's not enough time to have that conversation, as tricky as it is, this is what you should do. I don't know if it's something that you could even teach someone, but hey.
Bana, I think now that I'm speaking as a parent, wow. Anyway, Kinana, I think a lot of things, Snat, how Sheba, where you are today, it was only at a certain age where your parents had to now mention and say, and say to you, to literally tell you and sort of guide you. From there, all the time, all the things that you're learning has been when you see what your parents do and when you see how they do certain things, like, okay, so this makes sense because your first, how can I about anything? So I think at one point, then when you start trying to get, you start having the conversation to try to get where their headspace is and to try and not influence, but give them a broader perspective of what you think your values and principles as their parent, or and but based on where you guys are now, outlook how it but 1, 2, 3, 4 and the other in order, just like giving. So as a parent, only involved or giving for the child to actually have that, it's gonna be quite hard. But how it becomes part of them. Or no, to share the English. I've seen my dad do this. I've seen my mom do this. I've seen my aunts and where they can. It becomes part of you. Because of that, you cannot come and want to speak down and say, "Hey, it's going to be a totally foreign concept to them." Like, but I don't know. So yeah, you have to wait for the right time. You have to start maybe having the conversations further. But the rest of the time, all you can do is act as a parent to make them aware of, okay, obviously has a and obviously highly 700 but okay, mama or whatever, because I know you are so maybe busy, you are with, but she pays attention because they're sitting in the bank like, wait, mutani, because now it becomes part of them. Okay, okay, so okay, because if you are more fortunate too, but then now with them, that will maybe decide, okay, I will do it this way because I don't think type thing. But even to a part in your day to day, so to speak, as a parent, and for your children, obviously. But yeah,
Mpinane,
that's how I feel.
what's your take on that?
For me, I think it's always very important to, I think what I will do, I would want to act as an example and make sure that I act in a way that my kids feel like they want to emulate me. And I know that like life is difficult and we will get scammed. Kind people, you know that whole thing, kind people finishing last. I finished last many times before, but I'm
whole
still fine.
time.
I'm still fine, you know.
Yeah.
I don't even have harbor, like whenever I get scammed or somebody cheats on me or does something to me, I don't even feel like bad about it for long. I'm like, I was doing it with a kind heart. You have a troubled spirit, that's on you, God bless. And it has lifted a lot of burden on us, on me personally. It's lifted a lot of burden, and I'd want my kids to feel like that burden is lifted on them as well. We cannot decide for people how people will act, but if you can decide as Mpinane or as Mpinane's children that I'm going to do this kind thing and I'm going to see where I can help, big or small, no pressure, whatever I can do, that's good. And I'm done. I walk away. You scam me. I don't
That's
even
all
harbor
on you.
Yeah. So I think that's something that I'd want my kids to emulate.
Lovely.
So with me, man, it's tough. But I strongly believe in the power of first impressions, right? So one of my favorite books to read, is on Blink. And it literally talks about that topic, about how quickly your mind or your psychology makes up its opinions about a certain person, a certain situation. And you know, we're sort of evolved for that gut or that instinct to be right a lot of times, more often than not. So I believe that people should pass the eye test. Like if my child was at the traffic light and I wanted to say, and they wanted to know I would say, do they pass the eye test? Like how much fella, what was the first thing that came to you? Was it genuineness or was it scam? Right? So to me, I strongly believe in the power of first impression, because like you're saying, we really don't have control over the other person, over what they do after that, who they are as a person.
Yeah.
But because I've also went through a lot of years of life and experiences and realized that life's experiences sort of corrupt people. Yeah. You know, I think we're genuinely good at intrinsically, but then things happen to people and people turn into bad people. And I've had experiences where people just have shown me that a lot of people are bad people. So I would advise, you know, make sure that somebody passes the eye test, but always err on the side of caution, because man, people are terrible out here, man. Like,
yeah.
So like, yes, go with your gut feeling about what you feel and see when you look at somebody who's asking for help. And if they turn out to be a bad person and you trusted your instinct and help them, that's on them. That's not on you. But always tend to be more cautious than not.
Than Lex.
Yeah, exactly. We are more generous when they can empathize, which is, I think, Mpinane's challenge here. Like when empathy is involved, it's very difficult to not be generous because you literally put yourself in that person's situation and you're like, you know what? Yeah, this person needs help. That's why it becomes easier to give when you feel like you're lacking, but until another 500, but the other person comes with a story that puts them so far that way. So like how Enkara kaena ubona only fortunate you become more generous. So yeah, like I would say, look, make sure they pass the eye test, but just always try to be more cautious than not. That would be my advice.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I think I've learned a lot from all of you, and I'm going to try and move away from, because sometimes I act out of guilt, and that doesn't help me or the next person.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I think I need to find a healthy balance between empathy and, giving. Okay, I still have enough for myself, because the thing is, now I'm the homeless person.
Yeah. Also, now that what's about e-wallet, for it's always so it's always so interesting when how about 1 year, but just think, oh my God, I was broke. I lived in my car. You have a car? Come on, man. Come on. Like so. I understand, economy, but how? But how you was broke, but you had a car. I'm walking where I travel.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. But you have to be. I'm more with Mpho because of experience. I'm just really cautious. I just don't go around being happy. No. We really need to think about it there. And obviously, when I'm Mpinane, your advantage right now is that Munduza on this is they were like, so that's your balance right there is the anchor. The balance is there because it clearly for
I got attacked in the house because I opened.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's rather be safe right now. With everything that we do, be more cautious. More cautious than anything. So you can sleep at night. It's fine. Learn us not to be more cautious. You'll sleep at night. You won't be guilty. Trust me. You'll be all right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. That was a really lovely chat.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy that I made it. Patty? Okay, there's the queen. And hey, good night. Bye-bye. So she was here the whole time. So yeah, it's dope. Thank you so much. Oh, hey, thank you so much.
Lovely day.
Bye.
Bye.